Sounds straight.
Welcome to Southland Supporters, the St. Louis City SC podcast powered by Ready to Live Wellness and coming at you from the Warrior Logo Wear Studios. David Heck, Erik Cole, and the Monday morning center back Dave Wyckoff with you here today. Gents, it's been a long time. I don't know how long it's been since I've been on this show, but it's great to be back, albeit not great results, but that seems to be like Groundhog Day this season anyway. It's nice to chat with the two of you. How are we doing this? We're recording on a morning, by the way, Sunday morning, which we never do. Typically, we do this Monday night, so I feel like we might be a little sleepy. We'll try and see if the coffee kicks in and we've got some energy throughout. Regardless, though, here we are, and I am back. I don't know if people are excited about that or not, but I'm here, and it's great to see you both.
Of course, people are excited about it.
Of who you are. You said your name, but can you tell them,
we may need a new intro
what
and
your background is?
Yeah, so I've been on this podcast since its inception, believe it or not. I've taken a bit of a hiatus over the last month. I think it's been maybe 4 weeks since I've been on this show. You guys may have the exact number. I don't know. I've been real busy lately. I don't know anything about soccer. I never played the game. I have learned it over the last couple of seasons. I am here for one reason and one reason only, and that's to keep the two of you in check and move through this podcast more efficiently. That is why corporate brought me back to this show.
Yes. It is funny, though, like in the time that you've been on the show last, very realistically, there could be a world where there are listeners who have never heard your voice on this show.
Oh, that's a good point.
And I say that like unsarcastically, like, it's feasible, it could be just one person. But no, we are very glad to have you back. We're not so happy about trying to keep the show on the rails because, we like to free flow and, we let the thing, we're like a raging river. We can't be contained. We're going to go where we're going to go, and it shouldn't really matter. You can't put a leash on a couple of artists like Erik and I. So just, do your best, but just let us grow.
I certainly will.
Let us blossom.
Yeah, and maybe we could get Raging Rivers on as a sponsor to some sort of a segment where you two just flow.
Are they still open?
They are. They are. My daughter was there a couple of weeks ago. It's cool and it's hot, Dave, was the tagline from the 90s.
God, that would be such a great idea. Like, especially, like, you consider if we would have jumped on that this season rather than, like, what really grinds my gears? We could have just been like, what really rages my river? And then gone on just our rants from there.
Dave, I'm going to put in one complaint. Can I put in a complaint this morning? Is that okay?
Put in all the complaints that you would like.
Your audio still is not great. You're still sitting very far away from the microphone, and I can't hear you that well.
The microphone is right under my boy lips, and
I
don't know what the issue is. I've chosen comfort recently over quality, as Erik.
Oh, that's a recent thing for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, quality's never been a high priority.
Yeah.
But it's even less. When your team can't win anything, you get a little tired of sitting in a very sterile environment, and I'm sitting in the big red chair trying to enjoy the damn Belgian Grand Prix that was supposed to start an hour ago and still hasn't started because of the rain.
I thought they canceled.
I thought they raced in the rain.
They do most of the time, but I guess they went to start. They did the formation lap, and the visibility was very poor. They're racing in the middle of the Ardennes, which is really cool. One of the cool like visual spectacles is watching this race from like the really panned out, and you can see the forest and everything. But the spray was real bad. Those onboard cameras, where they show the driver point of view. Imagine trying to go like 200 miles an hour when you can't see like the car that's
That's not ideal. Yeah.
So anyway, yes, comfort over quality, but I will try to do my best for the 4 people that still listen to this show.
Oh, it's way better when you put the microphone to your mouth, Dave. It sounds better. So just throwing that out there. You're also getting a blur on the camera. I know that YouTube is popping right now, but it's like you're sitting too low in this red chair of yours or something, and every now and then your face gets all blurry because you've got a blur on the screen, and you're not in focus, Dave.
I blurred the background, and I can't get it to go back. So that's
you're like that CEO during COVID that wore that cat hat head or whatever it was on Zoom and
Well, I am
went viral.
I am not a cat,
No.
nor am I in the witness protection program. So
There was a soccer game on Saturday night, last night for us as we sit here record Sunday. Were you both in attendance? I haven't been to a game in a very long time either. I've been so busy. Let me just chat about this quickly. So people that do know who I am, with the exception of the new listener who likely is unaware at this point, I coach a softball team. Yeah. I coach a softball team, right? And that softball team, we've now taken some of the girls from the old team. We've made a new team out of it. And so it has sucked up all of my time over the last couple of months as we've gone through this tryout season. We've tried to get girls signed. We do now have a complete team, so I can relax for a little bit as we get into the fall season. But that doesn't really kick off until October. So we've got a lot of time now, but it has taken up a lot of my time recently. I haven't been able to go to games. I haven't been able to do this podcast. I haven't been able to do much of anything. It's been exciting, but that's why I've been absent for all of this time. And now that things have slowed down, I'm getting the opportunity to come back, and I'm thrilled about it because I love this podcast.
I can't wait for the numbers to go back up.
Have they been down? I haven't paid a lot of attention recently.
I can't get logged in. I forgot the password. I'll have to.
No, okay, all right. You know that. You just shoot me a note, Dave. I'm happy to help.
I mean, we know that the numbers go down when the team performs poorly anyway. So
Correct.
That doesn't help things, but we press on, and we've been having fun. I mean, the watch party was great.
I missed the watch party.
I cannot imagine, and I made this comment when we. Spoiler alert: We've got an episode that Erik and I collaborated with, and David was unfortunately able to make it with the Soccer Dad pod that I would imagine will come out sometime this week, which was really fun. But I did make the comment to Erik that I cannot imagine the amount of FOMO that David has, because I know your level of FOMO anyway has always been very high, and yeah, you would have loved both the watch party and the podcast with the Soccer Dad pod.
Yeah, I was unhappy about both things. So the watch party, we were coming back from vacation, and I was supposed to get in on Saturday afternoon, which I would have then made the watch party. But we decided to stay a day at Universal and then fly back on Sunday morning. And I hate amusement parks, like a lot. I don't ride rides. I don't like lines. I don't love the heat and just walking around on blacktop for hours and hours when it's really hot. That's uncomfortable also. I'm a big comfort guy, Dave, as you know, and it's a little bit about me. But unfortunately, this portion of the vacation was not. So they chose as a family to stay one extra day. And then, of course, as part of that family, the patriarch, if you will, Dave, I decided to stay as well. And we missed the watch party. And then I don't even know what I had going on for the Soccer Dad podcast collaboration, but I couldn't make that either. So I was out of town. I was in Dallas, I think, for work.
Big D.
Yeah, so between work and vacation and the softball, it's been a very busy July. So FOMO was high. I'm glad it was a good time. I hope I can make the next ones moving forward because, yeah, I didn't like having to sit in Orlando, which is not one of my favorite cities for all the reasons I just listed. While you guys had a really good time eating delicious pizza and wings, drinking beer, and hanging out with good people.
We had so many beers and met so many people and had so many wings. But to your question earlier about the said soccer game from last night, yes, Erik and I were both in attendance. I made the comment that I saw Erik sitting down there, and he looked very lonely and very sad. And this was before the game started, so I can't imagine after the meltdown how he was doing. So
at least I didn't have to go back to work this time. Jesus, like it's like at least I could go home and wallow in my sorrows, I guess.
Erik, City loses 2-1 to Minnesota in what could only be described as another meltdown, which could be perhaps the title of this episode. when we release it on Tuesday. I suppose we'll still do 2-1 loss, and this is a game that I watched live, and I thought the team looked like it was just in dominant form in large part. The first half couldn't score enough goals, of course, and then of getting the one on the penalty, but so many opportunities and so many chances throughout that first half, not being able to capitalize, and then ultimately just falling apart late in the second half. I'm curious first, Erik, what was the energy like in the stadium at the beginning of it? Has it been what it once was in a very loud, kind of raucous environment? Has it cooled off a little bit in your perspective? And then, how did that energy change over time as we got into the late second half and things just started to fall apart?
Yeah, I'd say throughout the season, energy's been down, and I think a lot of it is a lot more empty seats. Definitely brings energy down as well, and then a lot more new faces that are finally getting chances to go to these games, and so your energy's definitely been low, and then obviously the play on the field kind of mimics the energy that you'll get back. And yeah, it was I guess it was down going in, it felt like, and then as play was going, it was kind of picking up. It was funny, I kept finding myself all throughout that first half especially. I just kept watching the clock to see where we were at post 15, because that just seems to be like the mantra. So I was like, yeah, this is going good, but let me see where we're at 20. Let me see where, and I kept saying that, and I was like, hey man, like, we're still in this. And the biggest thing I was noticing, like, through the first half especially, was like, man, second balls. Like, we were winning all second balls. Like, I know Minnesota is like fine with allowing us on possession, but we allowed them no possession. It felt like I think Dave sent an image at halftime of what the stats were, and I was almost shocked that it was actually like 60-30. I almost thought it was going to be 70, almost 80%. Like, we were really good as far as like anytime they would get on the ball, we were, closing them down, not allowing them to turn, winning second balls. Like, it looked like a great first half outside of, the goals that you needed. So that, like, you felt the energy kind of picking up, but there's just become this like sort of feel throughout the park, throughout the socials, within myself, but this is just me as a fan anyway, that people just kind of are always waiting for something to go wrong. Like, it just kind of felt like, yeah, this is great, but we still got to, and even Kristen texted me, I forget if it was at half or something like that, and she was like, how are they doing? I said, up 1-0. And she goes, that's great. And I said, my initial text back was just a lot of football left. Like, it's just that feel of like, yeah, we're dominating them right now, but there's a lot of football left and the way things can go. And unfortunately, it kind of still turned out that way.
Yeah, I felt the same, and it's an interesting perspective when you talk about the energy and just how the crowd kind of I don't know, Dave, how it's felt for you in 204. You've got a different vantage point, different perspective from where you're sitting than where Erik and I typically sit. But when I notice on the crowd, the first thing I see is the colored seats you can see, meaning that there's not people standing up, and it's not full. As it used to be, even in the supporter section. And I go back and look at, the SeatGeek prices, and those continue to drop. I have not been able to sell my seats in a very long time either, which is, it is what it is. But they're already paid for, so it doesn't necessarily matter. But, there was a time 2 years ago when you're selling them for 2-3x profit, and it's not happening any longer. I notice the supporter section, and it doesn't seem like that's completely full. But to me, I think you bring up a good point where it's almost like people are expecting bad things to go wrong, because I didn't really ever get the feeling that the crowd was super in it, just listening. It did seem to pick up because the play was so good in the first half. But what I noticed more than anything, and I'm curious if you guys picked up on it inside the stadium, was the frustration, like the groaning. It didn't sound like the team was, or the crowd was surprised by the way things went down. It sounded like, hey, this is just another game. This is another thing that we've seen happen. We're used to it at this point. We're sort of accepting it, but we're going to let our frustration be told. And then when those penalties happen, just this collective groan over the stadium. It's like, here we go again.
Yeah, it's a tale of two halves. I'll start with the energy at the beginning, and I will agree that it's a worn out, it's a weary crowd. At least it was to start. And the weather's a factor. It was a hot, muggy day yesterday, although it ended up being not nearly as bad as it probably could have been. Got some cloud cover, but there was some excitement that came right before kickoff when the starting lineup was announced, and you had Padelford, who, by the way, that's how they were pronouncing his name last night on the post game.
Yeah, I heard it too. Yeah.
Not Padelford, so Padelford is the official pronunciation. And then Sangbin, who I think the nickname writes itself. It's Top Bins. Top Bins Jong. That's perfect. Erik likes the Top Bins goal, so that's perfect. But there was some excitement that picked up, and then the team showed such patience and commitment to a really methodical buildup, and I attribute that to Leuven being back in the starting lineup. He calms that team down with the ball so much that you've always got the outlet to give the ball to Adu, and he can make pretty much any pass on the field. And then, like I said, the team grew and the chances got better and better, and the crowd started to build, and it kind of crescendoed with the penalty. But there were so many chances, and people were really starting to feel. I mean, at least up in 204, like there was a lot of excited optimism about that first half. You had Celio missed that chance. You had the header by Klaus that was cleared off the line. Sangbin, by the way, that dude is lightning in a bottle. I cannot wait to talk more about him. Maybe not in this particular segment of this particular episode, but he is lightning in a bottle. He had a chance against his former club that probably would have blown the roof off the place. So the energy at the end of the first half was about as good as it got. And then you came out in the second half, and Minnesota had been kind of tentative, and they committed more to their press. And that's when you kind of saw guys start to fall back into their bad habits. And that's when the uneasiness, the anxiety started to set in. I mean, just speaking from my own perspective, it was more thinking of, this is not a matter of if they make a mistake, it is when they make a mistake. And to their credit, the big mistakes didn't really come towards the end, which doesn't make them any better because they were still critical mistakes. But there's a saying that goes across, that transcends across all sports, that good teams find ways to win games and bad teams find ways to lose games. And that's what happened here. It's just guys that things start to snowball and mistakes keep piling up and piling up and piling up, and all of a sudden you're down, and then you're kind of left holding your hands up in the air like, what the hell just happened? So Minnesota's a good team. You cannot afford to make mistakes and keep good teams in games, and that's what happened.
Yeah, I think also.
Well, I will say.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Erik.
Well, I was just gonna comment, like, as far as the energy thing, like when Paddlefoot made that run and hit Klaus on the cross, like energy started to rise, and then, but especially that Songbin chance from the ball from Leuven, that was where I noticed like the energy probably got at its highest, outside of like obviously the goal, but it was because there was like this like almost kind of like, okay, hey, these guys are brought in and maybe they can do something to provide. And I think seeing that, like, you can definitely tell that Leuven's going to be looking for Songbin on the counter, like long ball through a lot, because like Dave said, he's just got pace. Like and it's quick pace. Like it's not something that takes a while to get him going. It's like from the first step. And so that to me was where I remember after Songbin's chance, like that's where I started seeing standing a little bit more, and the chance kind of picking back up. So that to me was where energy was maybe at its highest.
I felt the same, and again, those were great points because there were so many chances and great balls played. The ball that Paddleford, however you want to pronounce it, to Klaus was amazing. The ball that Leuven played might have even been better into Sam Ben. Like, that was outstanding. You just got to finish. And this goes back to, Dave Sperry, right? Like, find us a goal scorer. Somebody's got to be able to put those in the back of the net, and it just hasn't happened consistently enough. But we saw, I mean, Wallum had a great cross as well into Celio early on, right? So I mean, it was a lot of good balls played in, just nobody could score. And if that's not a microcosm for this team as a whole over the past couple of years, I don't know what is.
Conrad Wallum played the game of his life. By the way, him at right back, I was really skeptical about it. I liked the idea of him being able to go forward, but he dominated down that side, offensively and defensively. I mean, he ran himself into the ground. You know, at the end of the game, he had been out there for 100 minutes, and man, he earned a break. that's for sure. Like that was, and I know they're gonna lose him to the next game to yellow card accumulation, which again is one of the stupidest rules in the sport. But that's for another day. But yeah, it's finishing. It's a game of moments. It's a game of capitalizing in moments, and Minnesota just did it better.
While we're on the topic of rules, I do want to talk about the penalties that took place. This was the game. There were 3 goals scored. All 3 of them came on penalties. The first one where Ostrak went down and Lubin ends up scoring the penalty. I'll be honest. I want to just address this quick. I thought it was soft, and I thought the other 2 were strange calls as well. Going back to Ostrak going down, it didn't look like there was a ton of contact. Obviously happy that he got the call, and then we ended up scoring. But then going to the Durkin red card with Yeboah, I watched that play like 10 times, and I'd go back and see it again and again and again and again. Granted, I don't know the sport like you two, but when I see it, I don't see a ton of contact with Durkins either. I don't feel like it's a red card, but again, I understand like it's impeding the goal scoring opportunity. But I just didn't look like there was like a ton of contact. It didn't look malicious. Maybe it was a reckless play by Durkin. I'd love to get your perspective on it. But both of those plays, I felt like were a little bit soft in terms of what maybe could have constituted or warranted a PK, and then certainly on Durkin's red card. And then 2 minutes after the handball on Orozco, you go back and review it. That seems like a really long time has passed at that point, but I guess that they can do that. So those were things that I found frustrating with this game in watching it and thinking, well, the handball occurred in like the 86th minute, and we don't even look at this until, midway through the 88th minute. And then all of a sudden, the life is sucked out of the park, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, the Ostrak chance, it was soft. The biggest thing that I noticed, like rewatching highlights this morning, was like he takes another step after his ankles are clipped. Like, glad it worked out for us, but it's one where you're happy you get it, but you'd be mad if it was against you. You'd think it was soft. But I think this ref was, kind of pretty soft on a lot of calls just throughout the night. Not meaning that as if he had a bad performance, just meaning he was very quick inclined to, call a lot of contact throughout the night, I thought. The Ostrak one. Durkin, it's just positional awareness, maybe not as high as it needed to be. Anytime you wrap arms around a guy and he breaks free, and especially if, these strikers nowadays, when they feel any sort of contact in the box, and especially an arm, a pull, or anything, they're going to look to go down. It's also one where typically a lot of times when you don't see anybody really arguing, they kind of know what's up. And with that one with Durkin, is there much in it? No, but is where he's at and, what Yeboah knows and how to play the game, they're going to call that. And then being the last guy back, you're going to get that red card. It was crazy how quick he got that out, like not even like to think or look around. So he was for sure on that. He was. So, yeah, as quick as we get Durkin back, he's gone for a little while. And then the Orozco one, it's just, you can't have your hands that high. I know you're going for a header to clear it out, and you're trying to jump and get up that high, but there's got to be, just they're going to call that all the time. The thing about it is annoying. You got to wait until the next break and play before they can review it. And the people next to us actually, when they put it up on the board, they showed like a quick replay in stadium, And I was like, oh man, I think that hit a hand. But in my mind, I'm thinking, thank God they missed it, or thank God they didn't call it and play on. I'm not thinking about like, hey, ball's still in play and they still have a chance to review this. And so when they finally did, and we see the ref going over, it was like a real open play. It was nothing that we were thinking would be reviewed. And then that popped back in my head, and the person next to me, when they popped it up on the screen saying possible handball, a lot of people around us started like almost cheering. And I turned to the guy next to me, and I was like, that's going to go against us if it's anything. And especially when you saw St. Clair, he had the ball in his hands at time, which that dude drives me absolutely nuts. We highlighted it in our preview about how that dude just sits on the ball, time wastes, and it just is. There's got to be something to change the way keepers can hold onto the ball, flop on the ball, do all that crap. It's annoying to watch. But when I saw him walking forward and just throw the ball towards our PK, it was like almost confirming, like, yeah, that's going against us. So, yeah, I mean, it sucks because you really didn't feel like outside of the PKs for Minnesota, it was like a couple long-range shots that Berkey handled comfortably, and you felt, again, like it's one where you go back to a few opportunities for us and think, like, man, left some on the table. And I love what Dave said about it. You know, good teams will find ways to win, bad teams will find ways to lose, and it kind of felt that way.
Yeah. Real quick on the penalties. The reason that these guys go down like they are shot with minimal contact is that the incentive to stay on your feet is not there when you get clipped. And the referees are so hesitant to punish for embellishment. And, you know, it's too easy for somebody like Yeboah to get a step on a guy like Durkin like that, and I've got a hand on my shoulder. Well, I can go down and have an 8-yard or a 12-yard shot with no contact, or I can try to play this ball out of the air. You know, that's an easy call. By the way, that call in particular, very controversial. Katie made a great point that, you know, it's a red card because of a denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity. But when Durkin takes him down, the ball's in the air. So is it obvious that Yeboah could have volleyed that ball without Durkin challenging it or, you know, made clean contact? So I don't like the ambiguity of that call. I feel like a red card and a PK is very punitive there. There's no malice in that challenge.
Agreed. I agree.
It's a goal scoring chance, but I think the whole obvious thing, I think that's too ambiguous. I don't like the wording of that rule ever, because you're assuming a lot of things are going to happen when you make that subjective ruling. So I thought she made a good point with that, although I'm still kind of in the camp of, you know, it was clearly a penalty, obviously, even though he went down like the bitch that he is. And by the way, we've got to talk about this real quick, how Apple TV continues to be horrendous. And I went back and watched the game last night specifically for the moment when Roman Berkey had had enough of that bullshit and decided to stand up for his team and for the fans. And it was not part of the Apple broadcast one bit, because they were too busy showing 5 different angles of a penalty that he had already scored one of the exact style, just on a different side. So Apple TV continues to suck.
Well, I don't even know what you're hinting at, Dave.
Exactly, because they didn't broadcast it. So
Yeboah, after he scores,
after his first penalty, went, taunted the crowd, hand to the ear, Hulk
Hogan, I saw that.
Whatever. Did it again after the second one, an extended version of it. And Berkey had enough and came out and confronted him and shoved him, and there was a bit of a melee. But, again, it wasn't the most dramatic part of the game, the most interesting part of the game, where you would think that Apple would want all their cameras on it because, hey, here's physical confrontation, wasn't there because they were too busy showing replays, basically the same angle of replays on a penalty. It's
not a good broadcast. We've talked about this time and again. It's really not good. It could be much, much better. Regardless, I mean, the team drops yet another one, just sitting with 4 wins on the season at this point. I thought there were some things to be happy about. Like we said, the life was there. And Dave, I think you brought up a good point that the mistakes, you know, they went about 70 minutes without making any. So it was positive in a lot of ways. It was just so terrible the way that it went down at the end. But City now sits still in 14th place with only 18 points this season, whereas Minnesota, this is really a tale not of two halves as much as it's a tale of two teams going in wildly different directions, whereas Minnesota continues to trend in the right way and St. Louis continues to struggle. They will be back in action, City will be, on August 9th. They will play Villa, right, in a friendly coming up, but MLS play resumes against Nashville, who is also very good, sitting in third place, I think, in the East with 47 points. That'll take place at City Park on August 9th, so we won't do a preview episode this week. It sounds like we've got an all South End supporter exclusive episode. Sorry, South End submission exclusive episode coming up for our second episode of the week, with not being much to preview. But if we could just put a bow on this one, Erik, Dave, final thoughts. If you could just kind of recap this quickly on your feelings, frustrations, and kind of thoughts moving forward with the squad.
I mean, we'll go positive, I guess, to start. I think there were a couple players getting shifted back around to their natural positions. Dave said he was like unsure about Wall. I like Wallham out in the wing back position. I think he's physical out there, but being out on the wing, it allows you to be physical and sometimes in a less dangerous spot if you give up those fouls. And I think his crossing is really good on the ball, him getting forward. So I like that combination there. It was interesting, like doing a little bit more reading and finding out that seeing like Orozco go back to his natural center back position. I thought he looked pretty good paired with Baumgartel. Again, that kind of experience and youth combination in there, I think is exciting. I think the new boys showed some excitement. I think jury's still out as far as, what they'll be like going forward, but there's some exciting elements to their game that we could be seeing. I like the combination of Leuven and Ostrak. It's almost like a bit of calm and chaos wrapped into one, because Ostrak is just all jitters and chaos going forward, and Leuven can just be that nice control on the ball. So, I mean, there's positives as far as guys getting back into their natural positions, the way that they played. I just don't know, if it's sustainable, because you still got to make subs because guys can't go a full 90 really, or if they do, you saw the second that whistle blew, all dudes in red shirts that played from the beginning dropped to the floor like, they earned it. I mean, they gave their heart. That's one thing I will say positively compared to last week's game is there was no quit throughout the 90. Like they played for it. So I like that. So you give positives on that, but it's just still we got to be that team that, finds a way to win and not be a team that finds a way to lose.
18 points dropped from winning positions this year. If you take all 18 of those points, you're tied with LAFC in 6th place. If you take just 9 of those points, you're tied with Houston with 27, and you're only 3 points outside a playoff spot.
Wow.
Critch said it after the game. This team has to be more ruthless. That comes down every spot on the field. But I will echo what Erik said about the effort. The bounce-back effort was great. They clearly responded to the call-out by Lutz, but it still wasn't good enough. But they're our squad, and again, this is where you earn your stripe. And we had some really good conversations with people at the watch party about how this is the life of a fan in Europe. Your team isn't always top of the table, and some teams never get the chance to compete for trophies and championships, but you support the badge and whoever's wearing it. And there's some reasons to be optimistic after Saturday night.
I would agree. I'm happy with the positive spin you both put on things. You got to find some sort of a silver lining at this point, and I would agree and echo both sentiments. So well done there. City again drops yet another one, now 2-1 to Minnesota on Saturday night at City Park, and they will again resume action, MLS action anyway, on August 9th at home against Nashville. So the schedule does not get any easier. Erik, I was on a cruise last week, and that is why I missed that one. So on Monday of last week, I was sailing through the Caribbean, which was exciting. Really enjoyed it. Great time had by all. There was a sauna on board. I love saunas. Dave, I know you love saunas as well. This sauna was a dry sauna. We could have all fit in it. Maybe one of these days we'll go on one of these and just record from a sauna. I think that would be nice. as well. But, man, felt good after the workout, loved life, really enjoyed it. It wasn't the same probably as Ready to Live Wellness, which we all know is the premier destination for all things fitness in St. Louis. But, Erik, tell the fine people about what they can experience if they go in, hit the sauna, hit the cold plunge, hit the workout, everything that you're so familiar with, keeping your body so tight and rewarding at Ready to Live Wellness.
Well, David, I think you should keep the good times going with some of these specials that Ready to Live Wellness is offering right now. Again, they got a couple cool packages right now that you should take advantage of. So for $200, you get 4 personal training sessions with the client, and then you also get, like David was talking about, one of those fire and ice sessions with breath and exposure, where you do the cold plunge, the sauna back-to-back for a couple rounds. And then you also get 1 eVolt body scan, 1 VO2 max test, and 1 consult with a physician from Move. So great deal there. And as well, another package that they're offering is for $119. You get unlimited gym and open gym access. Plus, you get to choose from 2 of the following. You get 1 fire and ice session, 1 injury screening with Laura from Rehab Loft, 1 Pilates class with Casa de Pilates, or 1 30-minute massage with Jasmine from Mindful Recovery. So a lot of great things going on over at Ready to Live Wellness right now, so you can keep all your fitness, health goals going. It's all under one roof, so whether you're mom of 3 or strong as the double MCB, you got to go check out Ready to Live Wellness.
That's Ready to Live Wellness, our title sponsor here, 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard. If you are looking to get swole like Erik Cole, you got to check out Ready to Live Wellness. As we know, Dave, have a closet full of Warrior logo wear gear. They are the studio sponsor here of South End Supporters and have been a very loyal sponsor to us. I was in there the other day, met some of the guys for the first time. I ordered a couple of shirts for the kids. They're you guys seen the ice cream shirts that the baseball players wear? They're really into all this ice cream gear now. It's this baseball lifestyle company. Do you two have any idea what I'm talking about?
No. Please
Okay,
enlighten us.
haven't seen that.
So the kids are wearing these shorts that look like an ice cream cone with melted ice cream that comes off of the cone. They've got shirts like this as well now. It's a whole baseball branding. I don't know. It's a big thing in that world. Cameron on his baseball bat, his grip, it looks like an ice cream cone with ice cream dripping down this waffle cone thing as well. They have a shirt at Warrior Logo Wear right now that I just bought that's a big block M, and inside of that M is what looks to be a waffle cone with some sort of dripping down melting ice cream on that cone. And I just ordered 2 of them, and the people at Warrior Logo Wear made it for us. So I'm very excited about getting those back. The kids are excited about it as well. But Dave, they do much more than just big block M ice cream cone shirts.
Yes, for all your ice cream wear needs, from T-shirts, hats, and hoodies to team sports uniforms that are ice cream themed and promotional swag. I guess that could be ice cream themed as well. Check out our friends at Warrior Logo Wear at 12 East Main Street in Muscoda, Illinois. Warrior Logo Wear is a proud veteran-owned business. They bring the same dedication, discipline, and attention to detail from their service time in every one of your projects. If you can't get to their brick-and-mortar store, they can help you launch your own custom web store. They will handle everything from setup to shipping. They'll even design your logo if you're not one of the artist types. So that's great. No order minimums. It's perfect for any size company or event. The free store setup keeps you from paying those hidden costs, which you know we hate.
God,
we hate them.
These.
Warrior Logo Wear will ship your products directly to you or your customers or employees. So check them out on Instagram at Warrior Logo Wear. Those are all lowercase letters. On Twitter at Warrior Logo Wear, capital W, capital L, capital W, or at warriorlogowear.com, the official swag sponsor of the South End Supporters. DH, I can't imagine that you've been able to wear your softball uniform lately. Given
I haven't played
yeah.
softball. I haven't played softball. I haven't done anything besides build a 13U softball team with the help of a bunch of others, which has been great, and travel, both personal and for business. It's been super busy. I know the team just played last week. It sounded like there was an altercation. I was on the group text softball team group text, and it sounded like a couple of the guys might have gotten into it with another team. We're not very good. We know that we're dressed very well because we've got the swag, we've got the drip from Warrior logo wear, but the team itself is not great. One of the things about Warrior logo wear, as great as they are at actually outfitting the team, they're not actually playing the sport out there with us. So it's up to us to be good at it, and we're just not.
That's unfortunate. Well, you just haven't gelled yet. You haven't had time.
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, typically teams take 3/4 of the season to actually gel and get into form. So maybe one of these days we'll.
Maybe you guys are the STL City of the Friday night Muscuda men's
potentially.
League.
I'm hoping we get dropped down to a lower division if there is one in town, because what we play in is not very. It's too good. It's too hard. The people are too young, and they're too fast, and it's frustrating to most of us. That
it's really not fair, is what it sounds like.
It's not fair. It's not fair at all. I don't know. I like it. It's fun going out there on Friday nights and hanging out, drinking a couple of beers, playing softball, but I'm just not competitive I want to win, yes, but I'm not competitive like I used to be. So, which is probably a good thing, because I don't care enough to put my body on the line for this stuff. There are people out there, man, that are diving all over the place, and I'm like, this seems like a bad idea. I have recently switched to pickleball, and I am obsessed with the sport. So I've been playing. We've got a court in our neighborhood here, and we play every week, and I'm looking to play as many times as possible. That is my new thing. Really into it. Went out and bought a nice new paddle. And man, we've been playing that a lot. So I've turned my attention from softball to pickleball, and I think I might be into this permanently.
Well, I hope that you're stretching, because I hear that the pickleball lends itself to a lot of explosive movement-related injuries for men of our age, which is probably why I have avoided it up to this point.
I've heard
it looks super fun.
It is fun, dude. It is fun. But yes, it's a knee, it's an Achilles. It's all the things that could potentially happen every time you stop and start like that, for sure.
Just wonderful.
News and notes from the back post, brought to you by Elite FT. What do you guys got for us today?
Well, Elite FT, as always, brings you the elite news and notes from the back post. EFT is the premier youth sports training program in the Metro East, and they've been doing it since 2002 with the mission of providing a safe, educational, challenging, and fun environment where coaches can instruct and challenge athletes, helping them become confident, disciplined, and elite. I've been out there the last couple of weeks. My daughter's always been doing some one-on-one training with Marin, but I've also been around the Bosco's Buddies and some of the younger kid training programs, and they look like they're having a blast. So if you have a child who is interested in playing soccer, or you're interested in getting your child to learn how to play soccer, EFT is a great place to take them to. If they don't play soccer and they just want to work out like a crazy person, which for whatever reason, there are multiple kids, one of mine included, that like the speed and agility classes. I don't understand it. I dread going to work out, but speed and agility classes for ages 3rd grade through high school. They've got private and team training. So check them out at eliteft.com or Elite FT Soccer on all the socials. You can join their elite membership program, so check out their website for details. Elite FT, confident, disciplined, and elite. They bring you the news and notes from the back post this week. A couple of big things that I've got are not city related. Number one, we haven't really talked about the non-league or lower league legend sort of soccer this year. Shout out to Soccer Zombie. He's on some crazy cross country lower league trek this year, which is really cool, and I appreciate somebody that commits their time and a big part of their life to covering non-league. But one of the teams that he has pimped the biggest is ATAR FC, former team of Dave Cole. ATAR is playing today. Actually, the kickoff is in about 3 minutes in the Midwest Premier League Gateway Conference Championship match against Lenoma FC, and that's out in Omaha, Nebraska, and that starts in 3 minutes. So good luck to ATAR, obviously based out of Belleville. That's pretty cool. And then the other thing that I just wanted to touch on, another game that kicks off today, a little bit bigger, the Women's Euro Final today, kicks off in about an hour. We're recording on Sunday, so by the time this comes out, the results will have been posted. But it's Spain who are the presumed favorite, but were taken really to the brink by Germany. And Spain is the reigning World Cup champion. They'll face off against the Lionesses, England, who are the reigning Euro champion. These two faced off in the last World Cup final. So this is going to be really exciting. I mean, as far as the women's game goes, this is, top of the mark. Really excited to monitor this while we're recording our South End Submissions episode right after this. But as far as that goes, Erik, I'll kick it over to you and see what you've got in terms of news and notes.
Yeah, I just got a couple things more City related. So if you were wondering who that outside left back was playing for City last night, that was Devin Pettiford. He is on loan. We picked him up from Minnesota on loan until December 31st, 2025. City gave up a natural third-round pick in the 2026 MLS Super Draft. So it sounds like this guy is kind of somebody that the Minnesota has high hopes on to be going forward as their starting left back. They see a lot of promise in him, and they just want to get him some more first-team minutes. And it looks like City was happy to oblige to that. So, yeah, Devin Pettiford thought he had an all right game. I think early on he looked a little inconsistent with the touches on the ball and passing, but he settled into the game and had himself a decent game. So we'll one to keep an eye on again until December 31st. We'll have him here. And then the last thing I have, just kind of a off-topic thing, but maybe something that'll be more exciting for people to watch than the product that's on the field, is maybe a little off the field, as City are doing this little documentary series where they are looking to find the first ever team pet. So it's like, I think it's a 4-part series where these dogs are, I don't know what but it's just a 4-part online documentary series, Team Pet, with the first episode debuting on City's YouTube channel. A series, it's going to be narrated by Taylor Twellman, and it goes behind the scenes to illustrate the selfless work of a trained puppy raisers and role play they prepare for each dog. And I think they're trying to find like the team, I don't know if it's the team mascot, but the team pet, basically, it looks like. So if you're a big dog lover, animal lover, and you want to watch something City related that's maybe a little bit more exciting, check that series out on their YouTube channel.
Can I sneak a South End submission into this? Can I sneak a prompt into this right here?
Dave, you're a host. You can do whatever you want.
Oh, God bless America. If you could pick one animal to be City's team pet, what kind of animal would it be? Let's take the obvious out of there. Let's take dog, cat, bird, fish. Let's take the obvious everyday pets out of there.
What's an animal that's very like impressive?
I know David's
first
answer.
15 minutes you meet it and then it just kind of fades out. Like, what's an animal that's like that? I'm trying to think.
Like a sloth, maybe? I don't know.
Man, a lot of sloth talk, Erik.
A lot of sloth talk lately.
A lot of sloth
talk lately. Oh, man. And
something that's really tough for 15 minutes, but then backs down like immediately when you confront it.
Yeah, it almost would be like a Chihuahua or my dogs, where they bark at the door real tough, but if anybody ever stepped foot in the house, it'd be a game over story.
Piss all over their legs.
What you said? You think David has his answer? What's David's answer?
I don't know what it would be, Dave.
Honey badger.
Well, honey badger, though. Honey badger.
He would want the honey badger to be. Maybe that's not really characteristic of the current team.
It's not indicative of this current team. I mean, the honey badger. Listen, I think the honey badger is the most underused mascot in sports. Like, I don't think people know enough about the honey badger. I feel like there are way less aggressive and tough sounding mascots out there that we've just kind of used because they're traditional or whatever. But man, the honey badger is the real deal. Like, there should be more teams named honey badgers, I think, personally. And I don't know of one. Maybe there are a couple. That was the name of my fantasy baseball team for a couple of years. But I believe if you haven't watched honey badger videos, like, go watch them. Man, they're just ferocious. They don't back down. Super aggressive, mean. I love that animal.
That was like year one City. Year one City would have been a honey badger. This year,
yeah, agreed. Yeah.
This year,
year one, like the first 7 or 8 weeks of the season,
Yeah.
would have been the Honey Badger.
This year we're like the St. Louis City Dung Beetles. We'll go with the Dung Beetle.
Yeah.
Just
Dung Beetle.
rolling around our own shit.
Just rolling a ball of shit around constantly.
Yeah, and if it's
You
not,
ever,
it's not a,
big dung beetle.
maybe we go with give this guy a shout. Just put him as the mascot.
Jerry
up
the
there.
giraffe.
Yeah,
Jerry.
that's-
Yeah, we had some Jerry talk also, with Jerry origin story and all that, which I went back and listened to and was just in tears because it was so stupid.
We should clip together a greatest hits at some point, Dave, and maybe
That
we'll
sounds
throw
like a
that
lot
out
of
there.
editing.
A lot of editing.
I have so many ideas. I told Erik this the other day. Like every time I come up with an idea, it seems great in theory, but then I think about the amount of editing that, let's be honest, Erik does most of the editing. And I'm just like, well, it's a great idea, but that would add another couple of hours to Eric's editing job. So we'll just table that one for now.
Maybe we could hire an intern, Dave, an editing intern.
We've been
put that
trying
job rec
to
out
hire
there.
marketing interns.
Yeah,
and
get the
editing
marketing department on it.
and, we just have nothing to offer.
So we need
Nothing to offer them.
we need a greatest hits list, and then we need a list of positions that we still need to fill, and that list is growing about as long as our fight card is for Cab the Comet at this point. So it's getting long.
Yeah, this is going to be exciting on this next episode. Erik, where can people come in and submit these submissions to for us online?
Yeah, send them our way. Follow us on all our socials. On Instagram, we're South End Supporters. Our Twitter and our Reddit is _SES_podcast STL. Make sure you're following us on our Facebook page and checking out our YouTube. That way you can keep up with all things South End Supporters.
I want to say thanks, as always, to all of our sponsors here on this program, especially our title sponsor, Ready to Live Wellness at 1530 South Kings Highway Boulevard. Remember, if you are looking to get swole like Erik Cole, you got to check out Ready to Live Wellness. Also, our studio sponsor, Warrior Logo Wear. Find them at 12 East Main Street in Muscuda, Illinois. They are the official swag sponsor of South End Supporters. We will not have a match week preview coming up. It will be strictly a Felix's Pizza Pub South End submission segment because the team is not playing until August 9th, so there's really nothing to preview at this point. However, STL Kolache brings you that at 1530 South Kirkwood Road in Sunset Hills, and I would venture to guess, Dave, we're just going to talk about kolaches during that segment because who doesn't like to talk about kolaches?
We can do that. We can just talk about how delicious kolaches are. I love it.
We very much will do that. I will enjoy. I haven't had a kolache in so long. I also haven't had any Felix's Pizza Pub, and I am missing that. I missed the watch party. I can't wait to join the next one and get in and enjoy some of the delicious pizza and wings at Felix's Pizza Pub, 6401 Clayton Avenue in Dogtown. And then Elite FT brought you the Elite News and Notes from the Back Post. Find them at 101 The Game Drive in Glen Carbon, Illinois. For the Monday Morning Center Back, Dave Wyckoff, for Erik Cole, my name is David Heck. You've been listening to South End Supporters. We'll see you next week, and until then, let's go City.